blockchain for every use case, one for logistics, one for manufacturing, one for trade finance, and these are purpose-specific blockchains, so they all have their specific vertical where the apps can be built on top, catering to that specific line of vertical. But on our platform, end users will be able to streamline their procurement, financing, and shipping all under one single window. So logistics, how do we do it? We tokenize a bill of lading, that's a document of ownership, and this allows us to import, to streamline the import-export process, and we pair this with IoT devices to give a higher degree of visibility, to mitigate risk and be able to insure some of the cargo with better risk parameterization matrices. For manufacturing and wholesaling, we do proof of provenance. We certify the origins, quality assurance, and authenticity. And this creates a bilateral assurance between importer and exports and manufacturers and wholesalers about the integrity of the goods. So for trade finance, it will be blockchain 3, and it will be an orchestrator between all the other components, where it will allow wholesalers to access capital and allow asset originators to deploy funds. And this will also be an aggregator of tokenized commodities, where under the single window, they'll be able to, let's say, book tokenized soy, and the importer will be able to receive the bill of lading and withdraw the goods from the docks in this way. And we plan to do a truly Web 2 experience. At the end of the day, users will do social login. We're going to leverage MPC technology, cross-chain MPC technology for DeFi, to connect with the 3 chains and provide a seamless experience to the end user. Ultimately, also leverage that backbone to be able to capture funds from other chains like Solana, Ethereum, Cosmos, Sui, Aptos, and have that all to be able to deploy funds on Avalanche chain. And with social login, the end user will not even have to know that there's a private key behind, and it will be backed up on their Google Cloud. So the business model is quite forward. We charge 20 basis points to asset originators on trade finance receivables. So the target market is very conservative, even though it's a big number. We're thinking on a 20 billion market share represents 0.02 of the total trade finance market. And under this business model, this would allow us to have 40 million of ARR. And being conservative, we have a legal entity in El Salvador where we can tokenize, so we want to do this very, I'm from El Salvador, so you can actually tokenize and have the regulatory framework to be able to distribute globally. So that's all.
Cool. Woo! I was at an event yesterday called Tech Forum, where Millet showed up. And I gave a talk there about how blockchain could be used to improve the sort of just generally quality of life in Argentina, or a country like Argentina. One of the there were like 8 different things I tried to identify. One of them was supply chain. So what you are doing seems like something that would be pretty essential to an export-heavy country, right? If you could track the sort of provenance of goods, if you could certify that they were handled properly, etc., you would be able to uphold. All sorts of things, and all sorts of
goods.
The adjectives that go with goods, right? You know, it's the version of the world that has always been treated or whatever it is that's experienced with. The key thing for this, though, for it to succeed, it seems like you need one industry to just adopt this. And you gotta find and identify that industry. And maybe you need help, either from a government body or from a certification body or something like that. Have you thought about what the first use case is?
Yes, I was actually part of the founding team of CargoX, which was purposely focused on tokenizing the bill of lading.
Yeah.
I parted ways with that team because I had a vision of trade finance being much more addressable, bigger addressable market. Now the tokenized bill of lading is received in customs. So I think having port authorities in customs recognize the title of ownership is the premise upon where we want to build. So financial institutions can also provide financing, and if not, like on-chain financial institutions, which they're a little bit more risk averse. But we're focusing on the shipping industry that needs trade finance.
I see.
So it's a battle-tested solution.
This is a financing solution.
It's for logistics,
For
both.
logistics and for bill of lading based.
Yes.
You use the bill of lading as collateral.
You use the bill of lading as collateral.
Yeah, yeah.
Tokenized bill of lading as collateral, and this is, so this is all the trade finance,
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
bill of lading is in the middle.
It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
So who would be, how would you make this happen? What do you need?
So we need the infrastructure first.
That's, you don't build it.
Yeah.
You don't build it. That's just about
We built it.
building.
Yeah.
It's a matter of.
So then we need to do
Many.
Yeah, or lots and lots of late nights. Just about
the
that.
regulatory framework for tokenized assets. So it doesn't have to be completely, let's say, regulated, but we want to go to a regulated way because we can permeate through the broader market that way. So first we would need to prove the thesis of here's on-chain funds, deploy it where traditional institutions, they're a little bit the unmet demand of trade finance. We can improve the visibility, we can improve the security, and by doing so, I think we'll be able to capture the market.
I think we have a clever way of doing that because the first part of the solution is traceability. So we have to mention that in the idea of traceability, but then we have the roots of the so I think it's clever to do that solution.
Very cool stuff.
Thank you.
What's the name of the project?
NF Trace.
NF Trace.
How far into the proof of concept implementation do you guys manage to get for this? Because I know you talked about having 3 blockchains.
Is the
Yeah. This is part of the proof of concept, and we try to use what we propose as the new features of the platform of Avalanche. So this is maybe not the best deployment that we are thinking for this solution, but we try to use the features.
Give a perspective on IoT vendor solutions, what they're using.
Yeah, what's the IoT dimension?
The IoT allows you to be able to, let's say, make sure that the goods on the dock were never tampered. You can check the security, you can check the temperature of the goods. So like with IoT, having the blockchain and bigger visibility, then the goods can be released faster from the dock, and also you're able to insure, or you're able to, as a finance guy, you're able to assess the risk and mitigate some of these risks to make deploying capital more efficiently through the IoT devices.
So did you think about what specific integrations you would do?
Yeah, we were
Is that
talking about
second?
chaining.
No, chaining is historical, but we use like for the typical IoT device.
Yeah.
No, we haven't. So we have he's a telco expert, so
Solution for different. We start first of all with the solution for health people, and we realize that we can do a lot of things with commercial way. That's better.
There's cool stuff, guys. It's good.
Question.
Awesome. Thank you for the
Do you know what factoring is?
yeah, go factoring. Trade finance.
This has got accountancy receivable
Yeah.
financing. This has got a factoring
Yeah.
type component to it.
Yeah.
And there is a commercial finance association that's like the big one that sort of handles that. You can get into them and you can have this factoring's got a lot of
Yeah, it's very.
very, very challenging market for people to be successful in because it doesn't, the liquidity is really bad. But if you could create a better factoring app and call it factoring, people would understand it really quickly. And this sounds a little like, what is that? But if you're like instant factoring, don't even tell people it's blockchain. Like just instant factoring. People would be like, I like the sounds of that. And everybody needs it.
Yeah, good point. On the manufacturing side, like I think factoring is a little bit more common. But it's the same, right? It's just receivables and financing receivables that have been tracked.
People always need cash.
Mhm.
Yeah, factories are all of them. There's also the word re-hypothecation.
Yes.
And I have to think it through every time I say it.
Yeah.
So no, factoring is the word you want. It's very cool stuff, guys. Like this will happen. Someone will do it. I hope it's you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will come to fruition.
Many will do it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the time, and I know we're.
Good stuff. I'm a believer. I've always been a big believer in that.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Woo!